Hello, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, I'm gonna share with you some kind of super basics like hexagonal grid flip-flop. You can see there's like two patterns, so it's either white or red, and it's based on shapes, and it's kind of flipping on and off based on the noise. So this is, I think it's super simple and basics, but also I think the way I set it up, it might actually be quite useful. So currently it's generating a lot of objects, and it's really based on this polygon grid. So I think a lot of times you see something like this. It's looking pretty futuristic. So how did I start? There seems like a lot of nodes here, but it's actually it's a lot simpler than you might thought. So let's have a look. So I started with a circle, and this circle has number six edges. It's hexagon, but I can easily change it to anything. Make it like 4, 5, 6, but leave it 6 at the moment. So, and I extrude the region by certain number, and I have it like this because I want to make it so that if I extrude up or down, it's gonna set it on the floor, and I can actually mirror the extruded circle. So you will see later. Oh, sorry. So this number is quite important, and that's related into this guy over here for the matrix apply. And I have also vector drop. So a lot of things that's kind of only there so that I can place the extruded circle on the floor. I put it on the floor so I can mirror it. So there's a mirror here that's mirroring it in a based on the y-axis. Okay, and that's actually the output before I add this matrices stuff. So if I unplug, we only left out with these objects. So there are two objects, the top and the bottom. If I show it to you, okay, so that's actually solid. In a different setup, I actually made the bottom parts not solid, but that's okay for now, I guess. And the rest of them is really just the matrix, and the matrix is controlled by these guys. The matrix for the top part and the bottom part. And based on this polygon grid, of course, we have a lot of presets for this grid. So at this point, we don't think too much about the element, but only the grid. So the triangle, it seems like it doesn't always work right away. Okay, it's not using the center as I was expecting. Okay, no, it's actually correct. It's hexagon type, and I'm using rectangle. Okay, so this is more what I was trying to do. So that's triangle, because we are actually using hexagon in this case. So triangle, rectangle, diamond, so that's kind of cool as well. So everything still works. How is this possible, right? So this hexagon tiling, of course, goes into the matrices. I actually have two types of configurations. The first one simply use the every center part of the hexagon grid, and I plug this into this vector noise, and the vector noise will generate scalar value and the scalar value is used here to give a value that's 0 or 1. true or false based on this logic. And I multiply it with 180, so it's kind of making like a flip. So either red or white. Okay, so that should be pretty clear. And then I have this, of course, just to offset the vector grid. And then so by offsetting the original vector that goes into the vector noise, I get like a flip-flop. The other one, this guy, is quite similar, but this one I'm using the map range. So based on the noise minimum and maximum value, I flip it 360 degree. So if I plug this in, so it's flipping on and off. Yeah, I think it's still pretty neat. Oh, they're slightly overlapping. Still pretty useful. Here we go. So they are not, hopefully not overlapping. So, but you got the idea. So two configurations there, and for each of these elements, I have the top and the bottom part. So originally I didn't actually use Extrude Region. Originally I used the Extrude Separate Face. This one is okay for basic shapes, and it's gonna create an extrude part without the bottom part. So this one has the bottom part. So if I reset now, instead of using circle, maybe we can use something like a ring, and we can create like a donut. So let's try that. So this is, oh, it could be like a ball, right? And you can actually, for each one of them, you can assign a bevel. Yeah, it's like a double-sided donut, or like a, yeah, two donuts on top of each other, but they are still working. It's gonna do the flip-flop thing, or with the other configurations, we have they're flipping in animations. So it's not quite a donut unless we have more subdivisions, and maybe we don't actually need to select all, select one, and then get rid of the bevel. Probably just smooth it. Yeah, it's kind of a fancy looking donut. So this flip-flop thing, you can actually bake this out. Currently there's something funky with not with Blender, or with this latest version of Blender. If I try to bake this using Spreadshop, in the past I can actually kind of just keyframe it. So normally I will keyframe, hit I, it's keyframe, and I move to the next frame and it's gonna update, right? In the latest version it doesn't seem to work. Even if I try to change it here, pre or post, it doesn't update. So maybe there's something there that needs to be fixed. But if we were to do it manually here, let's say I remove this like that, we can actually keyframe it, like, but it's kind of weird that we have to do it that way and then go frame by frame like that. That will actually keyframe it. But now I need to find solutions for that. For the baking, we can do it differently. We can use animation nodes to control Spreadshop and then do the baking. But other than that, that's basically the whole setup with this hexagonal grid of donuts or whatever. yeah, hopefully this is actually useful for you. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.